Hey everybody, welcome to Dan Bullman Photography. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about why you should print your photographs.
Might crash your internet, and I ain't even into that. When I was talking Instagram, last thing you wanted was your picture snap.
We live in an age where not many people are printing their photographs anymore. With digital technology, it's really easy to just shoot photos with your smartphone or digital camera and share them out to your friends and family on social media in a matter of seconds. So most people don't think twice about printing their photographs. Hell, most people probably don't even think once about printing their photographs. But I think that's really a shame, and I think that there are some really compelling reasons why you should be printing your pictures. And I hope that in this episode today, I can convince at least a few people to go out and print their photographs. This conversation is mostly going to be geared towards people who are shooting with digital cameras of some sort, but it also applies to people who are shooting film. With our current technologies, it's very easy to just scan film and share your photos in the same way you share digital photos. And so a lot of people, myself included, don't even print photographs from the film. When I get developed film back, I don't often get prints with them. And so there's many photos that I just have the negatives or slides, and I've never made a print of them. Now, the first reason that I think you should print your photos is that it is really satisfying. It is great to take an image that you have shot and get a print back from it. It's just really awesome to see your photos in a different way and see them in a different medium. And I think it's really important for us to take our work off the screen and be able to view it in a different way. Now, you don't have to spend a ton of money or be doing a gallery showing to get prints. There are a lot of great options for making prints, and we're going to go over those later in the video. But for now, I'll just say that if you really love photography and you're trying to make artistic work, or even if you just love taking photos of your friends and family, it's really awesome to see a print of that and to take it from something that you've shot either digitally or on film into a tangible object that you can hold and pass around. It's something that's really special. Another reason why it's really important to make prints is that they have an archival quality. This is a photo that I shot of my friend Amy, and this was shot on a digital camera. Now, if my hard drives die, or the file becomes corrupted, or technology advances to the point where that photo is inaccessible, it'll be lost forever. But this is a high quality print from a professional lab. So this is, barring anything like a flood or a fire or theft or anything like that, it could last for hundreds of years. So I think it's really important to make prints of your work, because you never know if you're going to lose those digital copies. Now, if you're shooting film, this isn't so much of an issue, but again, I think it's really worth it to make prints even if you're shooting film. Alright, so now you're probably saying to yourselves, Dan, I'm convinced. I want to go out and print my photographs, but I just don't know how. There are a lot of different options, and I'll start off with some of the most basic ones, and we'll move on to more advanced or more expensive options. The easiest way to do it, though, is to do some sort of 1-hour photo finishing service. Places like CVS, Walgreens, those places are still doing photo prints, and some of them even have kiosks where you can go in, you plug in your USB drive, and you can print your photos right there and just pay for them. And that's probably the easiest way to do it, and I recommend this if you're just looking to get prints of like snapshots or something where you're not super worried about high quality or presentation. I think that just getting some 4x6 prints from your local CVS or any place that'll print them for you is a great option. So that's what I do with a lot of my family photos. When I go on vacation or something and I come back and I have a bunch of digital files, I take the photos that I like the most and I go to CVS or wherever and I just print them and put them in an album. And I think that that's a really cheap and easy way to get started. Now, if you're looking for a higher quality than what you can get from a 1-hour photo place, then I would recommend ordering prints from a professional lab. There are a lot of options. There are tons of labs around the country where you can order prints from. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video for an article on improved photography that did a print test to test quality of a bunch of different pro labs from around the country. And I think it's really useful to shop around and find the best option for you if you're looking for a place to print your photos. But I've ordered a lot of 8x12 prints from ProLab, and I've been really pleased with the results that I've had. And I think it's really great to see your work bigger than your screen, and to see it off of a screen. It's just really fantastic. So if you're feeling really ambitious and you don't want to send your photographs out to a photo finishing service or a ProLab, then you can print them at home. Now, if you're printing photographs at home, there's a few things that you should know. First off, it's not necessarily economical. Photo printers, or at least ones that'll give you good quality prints, are often pretty expensive. But if you've already got a printer that's capable of making good prints, then I think it's worth it to try printing at home. If you're going to print at home, I would recommend an inkjet printer or something that mixes different colors together, because it gives you a wider color gamut. And especially even if you're printing black and white, but especially if you're printing color, you want to make sure that you have a good color gamut to actually get an accurate color balance. So I haven't done much printing at home, but I recently picked up some photo paper for my printer, and I'm probably going to be doing an episode down the road where I talk about inkjet printing at home. One other option for home printing is using a darkroom. Now, this is only if you're shooting film, and it's something that's a little bit more advanced. It requires chemicals, it requires an enlarger if you want to make bigger prints, and it's something that's worth doing. Now, it's sort of beyond the scope of this episode to really dive into darkroom printing, especially since I don't really know a ton about it. I have never tried it, but I just want people to know that that's an option if you want to print your photos at home and you are shooting film. So I want to talk about a few technical aspects of printing and some things that you should consider when you're going to print your photographs. Now, first off, you're probably going to have to do some work in Photoshop or something along those lines to get the print to look similar to what you see on screen. Now, when you're looking at a photograph on a screen, it's being backlit, it's going to look a lot brighter, so you'll often notice that when you print photographs, they come out darker than what you've seen on the screen. So you might have to brighten your photo up a bit in Photoshop. You'll probably have to do some different things with color balancing and contrast and sharpening to get the best print. So just know that you're probably going to have to make a different file or optimize your photograph a little bit to get it to look good once you print it. Another thing that I want to talk about is aspect ratio, and this is a big thing. Now, the typical aspect ratio for a photograph out of your camera is 3:2, or a ratio of 3:2. And what this means is that the long edge of the photograph is longer than the short edge by a factor of 3:2. Now, this does not correspond to a lot of the standard print sizes. You start out at 4:6, which does correspond to 3:2, but once you start getting bigger, the standard print sizes are often 8:10, 11:17, 13:19, 16:20, and so on. And these aspect ratios of the paper don't correspond to what the photograph is out of your camera. So you're often going to have to crop your photograph if you want it to be able to print it to the full edges of the paper. Now, one thing you can also do is print the photograph full size to a larger paper and then leave a border around it. And we're going to talk a little bit about photo presentation in a minute, and you can put things like mats or frames around it to sort of cut off the border and just show the photo at its full aspect ratio without cropping. Okay, so now let's say you've ordered some prints, or you're just about to order some prints, and you're thinking about how you want to store and present them. Now, what are some good options? Let's start with storage. The first easy option and obvious choice would be just getting a photo album. And especially if you're printing something like 4:6s or 5:7 prints, or even 8:10, it's really easy to just go on Amazon or go to a craft store or something and find decent photo albums that you can store your prints in, and that's probably the easy first option. Now, I mentioned earlier that I had ordered some 8:12 prints from a ProLab, and I did that because I wanted to maintain the native aspect ratio of the photographs without cropping them, and I wanted to print them to the full edge of the page. But that did present a problem because I couldn't find any photo albums that would store 8x12 prints, at least in the local stores or even on Amazon. I was able to find these nice album sleeves, however, and so I will be able to protect the photographs. But that's something to consider too when you're ordering prints. If you're ordering something that's not a normal size, or maybe it's too big, it might be a little bit difficult to find a good way to store it. But if you're hanging a photograph on a wall or something along those lines, then you have a lot of options for how you want to present them. Obviously, you can go out and buy a nice frame and put your photograph in a frame and hang it up on the wall. I generally don't frame my photographs, mainly because it's expensive, and also I'm worried about, nailing something into the wall to hang it up, because I'd like to get the security deposit back for my apartment. So that's something else to consider. So another option, if you're just looking to hang things up on your wall, is matting your photographs. Now basically what matting your photograph is just taking the print and fixing it to a larger surface or a thicker surface so that it holds up and it's sturdier. One of the normal ways of doing it is just called single or double matting, and it's basically just fixing the print to a thicker piece of paper or like a cardboard-like substance. There's also foam core, or this print I just held up earlier. This is printed and matted on gator board, which is pretty sturdy, and it's really light too, which is nice, but it's a little bit sturdier than foam core. So those are some basic ways that you can store and present your photographs. And if you're going to go the extra mile to print your photographs, you might as well go the extra mile to make them look nice and to protect them. So in conclusion, I think that you should go out and print your photographs. I can't stress that enough. I mean, that's what the whole point of this episode was to tell people that printing is really great and it's a great option, and just give you some ways that you can go out and make some prints. So I hope you found this useful, and hopefully you'll go out and make a few prints and see if you like it. I think it's really satisfying and something that's really worth doing if you're into photography. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment, like the video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And you can also go to my website at danbullman.com, and hopefully we'll keep seeing you around. So until next time, this is Dan Bullman Photography.